guy in that orange shirt? Who must be the fence expert? Who's that guy in that orange shirt? Who must be the fence expert? It's almost time to talk about the fences. It's time to discuss operations and expenses. It's time, it's really time to elevate small businesses. It's time for Joe to drop his knowledge, it's relentless. This rhyme of mine is getting a bit ridiculous. So here we go, we're live with Joe. Enjoy the show.
What is up, Fence fam? So good to be back with you guys again, joined by the one and only Mr. Braden.
How's it going?
Good. But how about yourself?
It's going good.
Good.
Can't complain.
Guys, so a couple things. One, we've got a big announcement. You've got a big announcement.
Yep.
We're going to talk about that later. This is going to start feeling like a real show where we tease it in the beginning, come back to it later on. So like at the, 45-minute mark or something like that, maybe we're going to talk about some pretty big news.
Yeah.
Pretty big news. Yeah. Until then, we're going to talk about video. We get a lot of questions, maybe not a lot of questions, but a fair amount of questions.
It's not rare.
Just about video, and it could be equipment to use, it could be what to shoot, how to shoot it, that sort of thing. If you guys are listening to us on the podcast, thank you so much. This is actually a recorded version of a live Q&A that we hold every Saturday from 10 to 11-ish Central. I say 11-ish because typically we get to talking and it goes a little bit long. If you'd like to watch this live and have your questions get answered, be sure to check us out. Search Joe Everest wherever you watch your videos. Could be YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. Check us out. We're probably there. We'd love to have you guys live.
Are we Joe Everest on TikTok, or is that just a fence expert? I don't even know.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's just a fence expert on TikTok.
I think it is. The fence expert on TikTok. And we should have gotten that started. Maybe, well,
that's fine.
We'll do it later.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we need to be better about that going live on TikTok as well. StreamYard, if you're listening, because I'm sure you are, include TikTok somehow on this.
To be fair, it's not their fault yet. So
Okay.
TikTok doesn't allow you to stream with external third
Okay.
parties yet. So maybe they'll change it, but probably not. No.
So TikTok,
Yes, TikTok.
if you're watching, because you probably are, then you definitely need to get with StreamYard and make sure this thing works. But yeah, appreciate you guys listening in, tuning in. Be sure to drop your questions. They can be fencing related questions or video related questions today. Huge shout out to Expert Stain and Seal for sponsoring the live and also just being great people in general to do business with and just hang out with. Caleb and Ashley and the team, I really appreciate you guys and your support of the live and also just, like I said, being legitimately good people. We enjoy them a lot. So, yeah, you got to meet them when we were in Nashville.
I've
There
met
for
them
seeing,
several-
yeah,
I've met them several times. But
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but yeah, they're really cool people. I like them. So
we got to go hang out at the place, see Stain, the Expert Stain and Seal corporate headquarters, you could say.
Yep.
So,
yeah,
genuinely good people.
They are.
Let's say hi to some folks out here. Jesse was first up. Jesse Lloyd says, Olive Branch, Mississippi. All right. Very good to see you, Jesse. Appreciate you tuning in. Robert Looker says, hey, how goes dude and dudettes? Goes well. Which one of us is the dude and which one of us is the dudette?
I'm hoping the dudettes are just general dudettes in the audience.
And the ones watching.
Yes, that's my
Got it.
hope because
Okay.
I'm definitely a dude. You know?
Yeah.
I don't think you're a dudette. So.
Nope.
Unless you have something you need to tell me, I don't know.
Well, not on this show.
Okay.
Not on this show.
Okay.
I swallow. Almost. I almost said it. Okay. Can I? No, you cannot. We should
Almost
just.
gotcha.
Yeah, we
Almost
should.
Gotcha.
We're gonna put them in timeout.
Oh,
See ya. All right.
got messed up.
Stevie Boy Billings from across the pond. What is up? Good afternoon, Joe and the Fence fam. And Braden, he's right here. Tell him I too.
Hey, Stevie boy.
Fence Injury Podcast with Dan Wheeler. What is up, Dan? Fence fam. Young Braden. I
Yep.
like it.
Yep.
Use a second cam phone. Oh, maybe for the TikTok. So we do. So when we do go TikTok live, I usually just launch it from my phone. This time it wasn't really even hectic. I just didn't think about it,
Yeah.
to be completely honest with you. I usually do. We talked about bringing an iPad and just like setting it up, dedicate it for TikTok, which would be easier because the comments on TikTok are about this big.
Yeah,
So
it makes it difficult for sure.
yeah. We know this guy, Roger Bentoncourt. Hey, Fence fam, don't forget those affirmations. Absolutely. Let's see what we've got so far. We've got a love from Dan Wheeler. Thank you so much, Dan. Appreciate that. We got a like from Jesse Lloyd. Thank you so much. It always helps channel, giving out all these affirmations. Now, the thumbs up, they don't really count that anymore, I guess, but the other ones do.
Yeah.
You could even give us an angry face, and I don't care because it's a good affirmation. So, do that. Fence Genius, what is up? Great job on the videos. Videos are tougher to make than most think. You're not kidding.
They are.
How
They are.
long? So we did some filming yesterday. 2 hours or something, hour and a half.
Yeah, it was about 2 hours. I mean, yeah, the audio file from your mic was, I think, was close to 2 hours. So yeah, it wasn't like a particularly complicated shoot either. It just kind of.
It was setting for post.
Yeah, stuff just takes time. So.
Well, and we talk it through beforehand, and yeah, so it took 2 hours, hour and a half to set for post. We were not on rocket speed on that one, but yeah. So I think we're creating good content though. So we're kind of in that conversation.
I think this will
mode.
be a good video.
Yeah.
So.
It'll be a good one. Cannon Johnson, what is up? Joe, got a job coming up that I'm worried about. Any tips for anchoring railing into lightweight concrete patios? Not a fan of it. So in the state of Missouri, railing is insured differently than fencing. So we're not insured for railing in general. Just it's a different set of liabilities. So we usually pass on railing. But lightweight concrete patios, maybe patio pavers, maybe.
You say it's lightweight concrete, just a different density of concrete? Or-
I I don't know. So we might be talking about patio pavers.
Okay.
I don't know, but in general, I'm not the railing guy. So, like I said, in the state of Missouri, they're insured differently, where we don't do railing. And there's a couple good railing partners here in town that do legitimately really good work. Yeah. So, but in lightweight concrete in general, when we're talking about fence, which would probably be similar to railing, we'll only attach. So, concrete pads are fine. I'm not sure about I don't know if I've ever weighed the concrete patios, but standard concrete's fine. When we get into blocks, that's where we start getting nervous. Even if they're, fixed together. So I don't want to call it glue, but some of them are bonded together. Even that makes me a little bit nervous. Now, a lot of times that they've got rebar and they're concrete filled, I'm totally fine with that. What I'm worried about is the leverage on the top of the fence pushing the whole thing over, not in the first year, but like over time.
That would be an issue.
If that makes sense. Don't want to end up on the news. Concerted Distributors, what is up, Christopher? Good morning, guys. Happy Derby Saturday from Philly.
Good morning.
Happy Derby Day. Robert Looker says, in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. There you go. Robert, appreciate you tuning in from the Great White North. Wyoming Fly Guy, what is up, Mark Olson? Or how does his TikTok name, I don't think I'm giving away a secret, but it's basically his name backwards.
Okay.
And I don't think I could pronounce that. I was getting ready to say that, but anyway. What's up, Mark? How are you? Lots of work to create videos. You're not kidding. Yeah, Mark gets it. I mean, he's behind the camera. Actually, I saw you had a video up 2 hours ago, so I got a notification, so I'm going to tune in that. It's basically telling contractors they shouldn't break down their bids. I think it's a good conversation to have. I agree with it. But I'm looking forward to watching that video this afternoon.
So what does that mean? So like no line items, just like the final, like basically this is what it's going to cost.
Yeah, and so you get this request occasionally from customers, and so and typically from insurance companies. So customer says, "Hey, my insurance company wants an itemized estimate, or they want it broken out." Some of them just want materials and labor. Some of them want to know everything. How much do your screws cost? How much do your pickets cost? Which doesn't matter, right? So I'm not bidding you 132 pickets. I'm bidding you a 6-foot privacy fence complete. So I'm going to bid the numbers complete. And one of the problems with bidding itemized is then it starts getting into negotiation. Say, wait a minute, you're charging $5 for a 6-foot 6-inch picket when at Home Depot they are $3.30. Well, part of that is one, I'm going to pay guys to go over, pick it up, take it to your either back to the shop or to your job site. Yep. One, I'm also factoring in some of these things are going to split. Even if we were to hand select every picket, which would be highly inefficient, you'll still have some split, like as you're nailing them, or you account for loss. So sometimes you'll get the customer say, "Well, what if I provide the material?" Well, that's it. One, that's not how we do business. I mean, there are some people that do, and that's fine. But two, and the main thing is we provide a warranty, right? So we warranty the workmanship, we warranty the fence itself. The fence itself for a year, workmanship for life. I don't want to warranty something that I don't have control over. So if the customer's going to get the materials, I'm going to get the call if something goes wrong, right? So regardless if it's the materials, regardless of what. So I want to be in control of the materials we use because I know the quality and I know where they come from, that sort of thing. Two, if there's not enough materials, do my guys get paid to sit and wait for you to go get more materials because there's a miscount or they loaded out wrong? There's a lot that goes into this that's not on an itemized bid. We factor all that in, right? Or we try to.
Yeah.
And we take the risk. If we don't bid it correctly, if we bid 132 pickets and for whatever reason it comes out at 140 pickets, that's on us. Yeah. And so we're trying to price some of that in. I'm sure this is probably, I don't want to steal Mark's thunder because I haven't watched this video and I don't want to step on toes on that one, but I have a feeling we're probably on the same page there. Fence Vlogs, what is up, Fence fam? What's up, Fence Vlogs? How are you?
How's it going?
The one and only Kenny Dugan. Good morning, Kenny. We actually used Kenny's brush, stain mixing wand, maybe.
Is that what you call it?
I have no idea what it's called.
One. You need to get a name for it, Kenny, if you don't have one already.
But don't say it yet. Trademark it first.
Trademark it.
And then do it. Yeah, absolutely. No, it worked really well at scrubbing in like all the corners of the buckets. So,
yeah.
Kenny, thank you. And that was actually, Kenny, I forget how long ago you gave that to me, but it's been sitting for a while.
Up here, hasn't it? In the back, we have like this back kind of closet area over here, and it's just I think it's been sitting up there at least since I started here.
Yeah, a little while. But we're sitting there, we're like, so we're having different mixers, or we're talking about mixing up buckets, and a light went off the top of my head. Bing! Like Kenny gave me one. I need to go get it, and so it took me a little bit to find it.
The reason we never use it is because we normally have the big drums that we use,
right? And
we have the other mixers for that. But then we were using a 5-gallon bucket, so I was like, "Oh, let's use this thing."
Well, because we were doing the expert stainless steel staining machine, which takes 5-gallon buckets. I mean, I guess you could use a 55-gallon drum, but that'd be
a pain.
5 gallons at a time because it only holds 5 gallons at a time.
Exactly 5 gallons. So you'd make a mess. I mean, you'd have to dip it because you're not just gonna lift up.
Well, you could use that air diaphragm pump, but it would be a mess. 5-gallon buckets are the way.
Yeah, if you're doing all that's so much work for no gain there.
Yeah, but because we were switching back over to buckets, we were trying to remember how we mix these. We haven't mixed buckets in a couple years, but so anyway, Kenny, thank you so much for the brush. It came in handy. Whereas, as my daughter would say, it came in clutch. Is that what they say?
Wait, who?
Clutch?
Your daughter?
Yeah.
You said dog. I'm like, your dog talks? That's cool.
Oh, I don't even have a dog. Okay. No, so that would be even weirder if it did talk.
That would be weird.
No, my daughter. Like, is that what I'm looking to you because you're significantly younger than I am.
If someone said something came in clutch, I wouldn't bat an eye at it.
Okay.
That makes sense, yeah.
All right. So that's, look at me getting trippy. I was going to say getting hip, and then
works. I mean, that makes you sound kind of old, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
what was I started? Well, I was going to say trendy. Yeah, trendy
know.
And hip, and it came out trippy. But none of those really work, I guess.
Podcast this morning.
Fitz Vlog says, I break it down for materials and labor on every quote, but I won't do line item. The reason being is I always require a material deposit. Certainly one way to do it. I wouldn't want to get into a conversation on what we charge for labor or give them the opportunity to say, well, what if I can get them, you're charging me $8,000 for the materials. Well, I went on Lowe's.com and figured it would be about $6,000 for material. Yeah. It's just to each their own.
Ours normally just like the whole bid, like this is what it's going to cost?
Yep, 100 foot of 6-foot privacy fence installed for blank. Now, we'll separate out different costs, meaning that the fence blank, 1 5-foot gate, steel frames on steel post blank, 100 foot of removal blank. Okay. Because some of those they do want to perform themselves.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I really don't care if they handle the removal themselves. We're going to have a conversation that if we do have to do work, it needs to be fully removed and disposed of. We're not going to touch it. But as long as we show up and the area is clear, free and clear, beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys are not going to complain about not having to bring back tear out.
Yeah.
Scott.
It's just no fun.
Scott would probably thank them and shake their hand for it. Yeah. And the gates, we itemize out gates because I don't want to say even itemize, just separate out the cost of the gates, because some people will say, how often they say, well, how much is it if I add a walk gate, or how much I want a walk gate and a double gate. Yeah. Well, now wait a minute. Okay, so how much if I just take out the double gate, or what happens if I add a single gate in the back? Mm-hmm. So we do split out installed, the fencing installed. How much is a single gate? How much is a double gate? How much is the removal? What we've started doing lately that works out really well is we, on the bottom, just say optional, pre-stain, sear materials is X. And we'll...
Oh, yeah.
Now, in Job Nimbus, you can enter all the items, but then hide them. So when in those hidden items, we'll have so much per picket, so much for rail. And I say one person now the last several months has had that taken off. They say, hey, could you take off the optional stain? Yeah, absolutely. It's optional. Yeah. I'd love to. Most people just accept the quote and say, hey, proceed with quote number 1, 2, 3, 4 without taking the stain. So we're actually upselling into a pre-stain product.
On the stain, there's just random questions. So it's already checked, right, that you want it. And then is there like a drop box below where you can select the color that you, or is it just...
That's during, no.
Or is that before? Or
No,
would
so
that
that's
be
in a
after?
follow-up
Okay, that's
conversation.
after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say, hey, typically, so after they accept it, we get the deposit, we get the contract, then we do the on-site.
Okay.
And so while we're there, say, hey, here's the 3 common colors that we do. It's cedar, chestnut, and walnut.
Gotcha.
And typically, I look at the house first, and I say, okay, well,
What would match?
if yours
it?
was
Yeah.
mine, I would do walnut.
Yeah.
You've got dark trim. I think it would go really well. Or I would do cedar because it's a lighter colored house, and cedar would probably go better. We also have a conversation that the darker the stain, the thicker the stain, the better and longer it lasts. So walnut stain would last longer than a cedar tone stain, that sort of thing. Yeah. I got to read the names before I say them now, but
I know this guy.
Noah
So that-
Moorman. Oh,
yeah.
when it comes to creating videos, what is your process for deciding what content to put out?
Asking me tough questions.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So there is a time like when you have just we have a schedule, videos are going to go out all the time. So sometimes I might put out a video that I'm not super proud of just because video's got to go out.
Sure.
So with that, sometimes you just put it out anyway without really thinking. Ideally, process for deciding what's put out. I mean, I'll try to think of what I think our audience would like to see.
Sure.
And then if I have, sometimes I have a week's worth of content. Recently, I've been kind of trying to trim the fat a bit and just show okay, this is one cool project we did this week.
Yeah.
As opposed to showing a bunch of little in-between things, which I found people didn't seem to like as much.
Yeah.
So it's kind of figuring out what your audience wants, and then from there, getting a lot of times I don't really decide what's being filmed that week. It's just okay, well, this is what happened, so that's what we got.
Now, when we're talking about what the audience wants, so behind the scenes, we get analytics based on when the drop off is and how much of what portions of the video people watch. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah,
to determine
that's
that?
what. Yeah, you'll look at view duration, you'll look at click through rate. You can look at demographics and kind of see, okay, if we say this one thing in a video and every time we say it, then the viewership drops. It's oh, clearly people don't want to watch that because they wouldn't, they wouldn't skip through it if they wanted to watch that.
Yep.
That's really a huge indicator. And I see that a lot. Actually, it's really common if you're not doing YouTube full time, doesn't really matter. But if people's if say early on, 30 seconds in, you're before we continue, stop, like the video and subscribe. Almost every time I've seen it drops there.
Yeah. Which is
So-
why we don't do that anymore.
We don't do that anymore. Sometimes I'll throw up a little graph or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
Because people don't care about that.
Yeah, a little graphic with a thumbs up or a click subscribe, that sort of thing.
And I kind of take into account my own habits too, because I find myself, if I hear someone do that, I'm skipping through too. Because more than likely I'm already subscribed because I subscribe to channels really quickly. So there's that. But yeah, so that's part of it. It's just looking at analytics and figuring out what your audience wants and then trying to make content that they actually enjoy.
Yeah. So an interesting part of that conversation is sponsors, right?
That is true.
So when we're dealing with sponsors, when we're talking to sponsors and trying to figure out how to incorporate them in videos, and you'll see it on our videos, a lot of them they have a very clear definition of what they want. In the first 15 seconds, we want a 30-second blurb and to say this. I think, unfortunately, that's where people skip.
They do.
Right. When you start watching, it's as soon as it says, and now a message from our sponsor. We don't say that, but others do.
Yeah.
And when they do, click. I just skip right through it. And I think that's something I think we should work with sponsors more and say, I understand what you're saying and I understand what you're looking for, but can we incorporate it in the video rather than have it be a dedicated section of it?
Yeah, anytime there's a dedicated section like that, even no matter how short, people are going to skip it.
Yeah.
Or at least, not everyone will. Some people just, keep it on, whatever.
Yeah.
But the viewership is going to drop. And I think sponsors know that. They should know that. If it's going to be like that, it's hey, less people are going to watch this than, if it was just a normal part of the video. But the more you can integrate it, you were saying, into the actual content, it's well, the more they're going to watch it because they want to see what's also going on while you're talking about the sponsor. So if you can do that, and that's something I think we should probably be better at.
Yeah.
Is trying to, actually spending more time to try to make it fit without it being kind of shoehorned in.
Right. Well, and we tried to do that with the Ozark fence sponsor. Yesterday we were talking about
Shameless plug, OZ.
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what I typically do. I'll look at the camera and say, shameless plug, these can be bought on ozfence.store.
Yesterday was the first time you ever said this could be bought on ozfence.store and didn't say shameless plug.
Oh, did I?
You didn't say shameless plug. I was oh, we're mixing it up.
Yeah, apparently we're not calling them
It's
shameless.
not a shameless plug.
It is a
There
complete.
is shame.
This is a shameful plug. I feel
Maybe you
ashamed.
go check out my.
I guess. Listen, yeah, but integrated, I think, has more value. But when the sponsors send us the contracts, it's typically in there. You know what
It
they're
is.
looking for,
Yeah, and that
and
makes
what.
sense. They want to have certain points hit or whatever. That makes sense.
Because and I understand from their perspective, it is an investment. It's not
definitely.
a small sum, so they want to be very clear about here's what our expectations are. I think probably just takes a little bit more effort on our end to kind of counter with. I understand what you're looking for, and I'm fine putting it on paper.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to weasel out of anything, but I think it would be more effective if it were to read. We would integrate a shout out or a description within the content. And maybe the integration could be within the first 45 seconds or something. Because I think the reason they're saying that is they know, regardless of the video, you're going to see drop off. So I understand what they're wanting to catch the majority of the audience in the beginning.
Yeah.
But if we could integrate it without it being like a static video.
Yeah, and I think the ideal way, I mean, if you can say it, in the first, you could be like, this video is sponsored by or brought to you by early on, first 10, 20 seconds, right?
Yeah.
And then like stay tuned later for more, something like that, I think tends to work well. I see that
Yeah.
work well with a lot of channels. Mr. Beast is extremely good at integrating stuff like that.
Yep. Give a shout out early and then later on.
Yeah, and then later,
actual.
while you're climbing a mountain in Antarctica, he'll plant a flag that's for Shopify.
Sure.
Like that's
Yeah.
That's some serious integration right there.
Well, and that's the person to watch, right?
Yeah.
Or one of the top
If you
handful of people to watch.
Yeah.
Talk about brand deals. Like, can you imagine that guy's? He has a team of accountants just to handle all of
Big
the
operation.
finance over there.
It's a big operation.
One day. Now, I don't. Actually, I hope not, because
Well, at that point, that has to be your life. I mean,
that's his business.
Oh yeah.
The Mr. Beast channels are his business.
It's not even just his. It is literally his life.
Yeah.
He hired basically a copy of himself to, I think, follow everything he did. I think they'd sleep in the same, maybe not the same room, but like same house. They'd eat at the same time, do the exact same thing for I think it was a year.
Really?
Yeah. That way he could have someone basically copy, so that way he can be doing other things while the other guy can kind of start filling that role. Yeah.
Interesting.
It is his life. He's dedicated, and it's paid off.
It's obviously working out.
Yeah.
But that's part of the conversations I think any creator has, either with themselves or with their team, is what, in my situation, we've talked about this in the past, in that now we've got Ozark Fence, which it needs a fair amount of attention, as it should. We have Ozark Wireworks, which I view them as like children, right? So Ozark Fence is a teenager. They're fairly self-sufficient. They know what they're doing, but they need some oversight.
60-year-old teenager.
Yeah. The years in business don't tend to correlate, but they need some attention. You got to give oversight and work with them on different things, but largely they do a lot of it themselves too. So now Ozark Wireworks is a toddler. It's walking and talking and it's doing a lot of its own stuff, but it requires a lot more oversight, a lot more hands-on.
Yeah.
There's three of us over there. So there's the hats are
none of you are
spread
full time over there either. So it's like
No,
when
yeah.
you're over there,
which for the last month, that's a conversation that's coming.
It has been over there.
Yeah, I mean the last month it's been I'm trying to think, for at least 3 weeks it's been full time.
Yeah, and I think one of the weeks it was still like a half a week or something. I don't know that they were here for a whole week, or maybe they were actually.
Well, they came over. Yeah,
I think it didn't beat it, but it's still it's been a pretty much.
We'll say the last several weeks it's been fairly full time for them, for Bryce and Chase, and then I kind of try to go back and forth, which ends up it ends up being a lot.
It's hard to keep track of,
And then we've got the channel, right? So we enjoy making the content. I enjoy meeting you guys at Fence Tech or Staining University or wherever we're at. Shout out FWA show coming up in August. So I look forward to that and I enjoy this. But then also it's like, where does this fall in, right? Because I think also, quick aside, there's an assumption that these channels make massive money, that these are like massive revenue generators. I hate to bust that bubble, but they are not. Now, this channel is getting closer to self-sufficiency through sponsorships and efficiencies and just is starting to become more closer to self-sufficient. Like on the P&L, it's not losing as much money as it's lost in the past. So like it's, but we have to also say, okay, well, how much resources does it require? And resources could be time, it could be money, it could be what opportunity costs or what we could be doing, that sort of thing. How much resource does it take? And then what is the upside, right? And the upside is absolutely helping people, right? So like being helpful and being a positive influence in the industry, definitely a benefit. And this all kind of comes into play. Where were we going with this? We were strayed so far from the question, but I don't know if that. I hope we answered your question.
I answered it. And if it didn't, he can talk to me later.
Yeah, there you go. Or just re-ask a question.
That's true.
Fence Vlog says it's a beautiful day, getting some work done at the family farm. Love it.
Nice.
Love it. So this is when we were talking about splitting out, having people negotiate, picking their own materials. And, so he said, honestly, that doesn't happen too much. I find the customers, at least in my market, are receptive to it. Plus, it eliminates the surprise of the amount of the deposit. Fair.
Would it affect the amount of the deposit? Wouldn't it be the same?
Well, but he's saying he only takes deposits on the materials. Though.
Oh, he does? Is that what he said?
So instead,
So is that what he said earlier? Okay.
Yeah. The reason being is I always require a material deposit. So we take a deposit on the full amount. Yeah, because we're gonna pay the guys before we get paid, right? So we're prepaying the labor and all that. So them splitting both of those or covering the 50% deposit on both helps cover the cost of both of those. So
there's different ways to do it.
Yeah, that's the thing is this is one way of doing it. This is not the way or not the only way. This is just a way of running a fence company that happens to work for us. Fence Vlog's got a question. What is the best editor if you have a mixture of videos on GoPro, cell phone video? I'm struggling trying to get content from Stainless Steel University edited because I did a mixture. What would you say?
So I'm curious what the mixture is called. So, I mean, there's a lot of different editors. There's some really good ones. CapCut's pretty simple and easy to use. You can use it on a phone, tablet, or you can use it on a computer. There's a free version. There's a paid one too. I haven't used the paid one. I use it for subtitles sometimes because it's pretty good with that. If you want a lot of control, DaVinci Resolve is really good. There's a really good free version of that. You can pay a one-time fee of like $300 to get it, and then it's really good. But even the free version could do more than what you would need it to do.
What's the GoPro Quick Editor? You know what that one's?
I have no idea.
Here, let's see.
I
think I've still got one of the conferences I went to.
Is it literally called like something like that?
Yeah, it very well could be. Let me see if I've got it on here still. I used it as part of a contest at one of these events we went to. Okay, this isn't making great edit or great show here, but it's
I mean, I use Adobe Premiere for most of my stuff, but you can't buy it outright. There's no free version. You can't buy it outright, which means you're going to be paying for it monthly, which kind of sucks. And then, especially if you're not doing it professionally, it's like that's just kind of a pain. And it's not very intuitive at all. So it's going to take a bit to get into. Once you get into it, it's really powerful. But so there's a lot of different options there. If you're on Mac, iMovie's free and on it already, so that's cool.
So this one's called GoPro Quick, Quick, and so Jeff, probably the person that they're focusing it on is someone like you that shoots a lot on their phone.
Can it only do GoPros though?
No. So it'll take it. It's mine's on an iPhone,
so
but
it just takes a video file. Okay.
Yeah, it takes a video file, but you can also import media. So if you took that, like emailed it to yourself, you could import it in here or something. And I'm sure there's probably a more nope, you can connect it directly to your GoPro. So this has our Hero 9 on it, so it tells you how long ago that's been. But you can directly import from your GoPro. Also, you can pull media from your phone. So, and it was a free app as far as I know. GoPro Quick. Yeah. There's a bunch of options.
There's a lot of good options, really. Yeah.
Front Rock Fences says, good morning. Good morning, Front Rock.
Good morning.
Noah's got another good question. What is your favorite series on the channel to film or edit, and what is a series we can see in the future?
Oh, boy. Okay.
So let's talk about the series in general.
Yeah, so I mean, the main series that like I'm in charge of or kind of, you know, taking control would be like Week in the Life.
Yep.
So that's what I spend a lot of time doing. It's kind of more, it's changed a lot over the past year, I'd say. I mean,
we started off with just a vision, right? And honestly, so the vision I had and I gave to you was the Luxury Bazaar channel, where they do basically a week in the life. It's structured very much like a documentary. So they hired a producer from, it was like Discovery or somewhere like that, from one of their shows. So it's very structured. It's very, you know. So we started similar to that.
Yep.
But then as you grew to watch how the audience interacts and watch how the guys interact, then it started morphing.
Yeah, it's become a lot more unstructured as far as like it's become more casual recently. Like there haven't been as many talking heads. It's been kind of more in the moment. I've been leaving more kind of just like goofy stuff in. So there's that. The recent ones of those, the Weekend Lives, have probably been my favorite in a while. Editing's pretty easy on them, but it's also kind of fun. You can throw in some, you know, like little jokes and stuff now and then, which I enjoy. Yeah, reactions are also really good too. Like I don't edit that many of them. They're kind of fun to edit. It's just something different. It's you know, because those are a bit more polished. You have different split screens. You can do multicam, stuff like that. But yeah, probably Week in the Life would have to be my favorite, just because that's really the main series and that's what I've spent so much time on.
Yeah, that's my favorite to watch of the stuff we do. Not that the other stuff we don't do isn't good, but I enjoy watching because it also, like, because you cover stuff that I'm not involved in.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff I get to see for the first time like what the guys are doing out in the field, that sort of thing.
Now, shorts are pretty fun too.
Shorts are
good. Did you watch yesterday's short?
Yeah, we cut the pipe. Yeah. So what's funny is I saw that happen from the security cameras, like from but I couldn't see what was happening.
Yeah.
I saw you guys out there, and then all of a sudden I saw water everywhere. I was like, what is going on?
That was pretty good.
So I saw it, I registered it, and then I moved on. And then when I watched the short yesterday, I was like, oh, that's what that was. Interesting.
Yeah. So I wasn't even out there.
Okay.
Eric recorded that. He recorded that and then came to my office like, hey, did you get the text that I sent you? I'm like, no, nothing's come through. And he's like, oh, it's still sending. And it came through. I was like, oh, wow, that was interesting.
It's a lot of water.
It was a lot of water. It was funny.
Holly Lee, what's up? Holly says, great information. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Landmark Creations, what's up, buddy? I appreciate all the fence guys here creating content. It takes a huge commitment to do it consistently.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It does.
I mean, from your point of view, like you said, it's not like financially, it doesn't sustain itself currently. So it is an investment, and it's something that you think is good to do. So it's
well, and that's it. And I think it provides value and at least a little insight to maybe how one fence company runs, and just not that this is the way, this is just a way, that sort of thing. Divine Fence says, hello, Braden, Joe, and the entire Fence fam. Hope everyone's having a great weekend.
Hello.
What's up, Divine? Jeff Sorensen says, most of the guys I see posting content and considering themselves influencers aren't big companies at all. What made you decide this is where I want to focus attention on business instead of trying to generate more revenue and put more money in your pocket? Very good question. The target audience for the majority of the posts and podcasts and info isn't for the consumer, so it's very confusing what the goal is. That is a fantastic question. And it's a question that we talk about from time to time. It's like, guys, what is our goal?
Purpose, yeah.
What is our purpose here? What's our why? You know, when I'm talking to other contractors about their video content, it's like the why is important. So it's like, what is our why? And our why is the guys I meet at these, like I said, Fence Tech or State University, FWA show, wherever, that come up and say, hey, I really appreciate your content. It's helped me out. I watched your video on X and it helped me get through like some issue I was having. That's first and foremost kind of what we're after. And it's just, also documenting. Like, I think it'd be interesting if I could watch a video of my great grandfather and see what was on his mind, or my grandfather when him and his brother-in-law were starting this business. I think it'd be incredibly interesting to see what they went through and how they built, and maybe what their thought process was when, deciding, are we going to keep the steel foundry or are we going to build fence?
Yeah, that's definitely worth something, having that just documented in general. It's cool. It's something cool to look back on, if nothing else.
Absolutely. And Jeff, that's a very good point. Like, we could focus all this energy on creating Ozark Fence content and only doing stuff for our customers, and we probably would generate more revenue. But I think, at least for me, when I get to a certain point, like, listen, we need to pay our bills. Money is a requirement at some point, but also there's more to everything than money, right? Money isn't the end all be all. So if we can cover our costs and we can provide some benefit, that's a win.
Yeah.
Right. And so the last sentence is interesting. The target audience for the majority of these posted podcasts and info isn't for the consumer. So it's more geared. And this is something we talk about a lot too. Like, who's watching our video? What does the demographic look like? And it is typically other contractors or vendors or that sort of thing. So, we go back and forth on this. I think a channel dedicated to consumers would probably do well, but I don't know. It's just it would feel different, I think.
I'd argue it'd probably do better.
Yeah.
Just because
in terms of like viewership.
Yeah, there's just a lot more of them. So there's that, but that's kind of not been your goal, really. I mean, you want content that can help, that can help the fence contractors.
Well, that's it, because there's so many, not young in terms of age of the person, but in the age of the business. There's so many young fence companies out there.
New fence companies.
Newer fence companies, absolutely. So, the average age of average lifespan of a company in general, a new startup's 3 to 5 years. So what can we do in the fence industry to try to lengthen that, like to get it to 7 or 8 years or 10 years? Can we provide some sort of content that maybe helps towards that? Now, some of the content I think we do probably does go towards the consumer, like the reaction videos, I think are more like probably consumer facing than contractor facing.
They're more likely to get a random click from somebody that just,
Yep. So we do a little bit of both, but in terms of like impact, I would rather have impact on the fencing industry because that's where we are than in the consumer industry. I think you see channels, not necessarily fencing channels, but like we just did a reaction video today that you guys will see in the next month or two about like a Home Depot repair video, right? We see those, and we see the Renovision DIY that is very consumer.
Your favorite guy.
Oh, he's the worst. But I think you see those folks that are consumer facing and what like the content they're putting out. Like, I don't want to have to do that content where I'm trying to think up stuff to do to create a video that would maybe interact with the consumer, and installing, or not installing, but like cleaning your fence with a deck brush that's been cut down and dumped in a bucket of bleach. Like, that's not great, right? So, but he was probably looking for content. He had to produce content, and he's a consumer-facing channel. Because God knows I'm not the only contractor that doesn't like this guy, and you see this in the comments. So he certainly cannot be a contractor-facing channel. No. I don't know. Different strokes for different folks, sort of thing.
Yep.
Great question though. Gannon says, Joe, I had a guy visit our Cinco de Mayo party last night from Springfield. Heck yeah, small world. He didn't know Ozark Fence. We got to do better on that. But I said orange trucks. He knew exactly who y'all were. Okay, well, good branding. Very good. All right. GBO, Go Big Orange, I think is what we're going to say that stands for. But, good deal. Orange Chrome, which is a shameless steal from Sean King's Blue Chrome. And so we were texting about trucks, and this is, a couple years ago probably at this point. He's like, you got to go for Chrome. I was like, yeah, but Orange Chrome, is that a thing? He goes, probably. I mean, Blue Chrome's a thing. And so I reached out to the rap guy and I said, hey, is Orange Chrome a thing? He's like, it can be. He said, let me check. And then he's like, it can be. 3M makes it. So
nice.
Orange Chrome it is. Protecting Your Race podcast. What's up, Nathan? iMovie is legit. Final Cut Pro is an easy entry platform that can expand out a little more intuitive than Adobe Premiere.
It's definitely more intuitive than Premiere. The only issue it being is Mac only. So if you're Windows, you're kind of screwed there. But it is. And like you said, iMovie is just like the baby Final Cut. So, but if you have Mac and you're using iMovie and you're like, hey, I want more, Final Cut would be a natural next step for sure.
I guess I just got into Premiere Pro just I don't know. I mean, we already had the Adobe suite, I think, because we were doing picture editing in there, and I probably saw that it had a video editor, and I was like, well, I'll give it a try.
Like, I know you watched some Peter McKinnon and stuff.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So that could have influenced it too.
Absolutely. I need to get back in his content. He's
Makes some good
such a good
like a cool
creator.
dude.
Yeah, he's one of those guys you like to just like sit and hang with.
Yeah.
So before I get into this, so if you watch some of my early videos, I was very much like just do because I'd be like, "What's up, Fence fam?" And like that's very much a Peter McKinnon move. An old video popped up a little while ago, and I was like, I was very much in a Peter phase on that one.
That's not a bad thing.
No, I didn't.
No.
Not at all. But
I don't watch him.
it's just funny, like who you watch influences like what you do.
Yeah, that's why you got to watch good people if you want to make good content.
Absolutely. What would be the best app on Android/iPhone to edit quick videos for Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, CapCut's the one I would know of that I've used and I know works, and I know a lot of people use it. I'm sure there's other options, but I think it's good.
Very good. So, all right, this is going to be a reference to this because technically Nathan said CapCut is an easy hood editor.
Yeah.
And then Cannon says, I love stuff that is easy and hood. Always good in the hood.
Yep.
There you go.
There you go.
Front Rock says, hi, Cannon. Did you get your My Fence Life Jackson fence glass? Okay. That was an inside question that I probably didn't even need to. River City Fence uses TFIP to build the fence company. We're small, so I bring guys on to help me grow almost as a coaching call. And we do get some of that benefit at Ozark Fence. We did a job this week. Now, it wasn't a massive job, but it was a job that came to us because he watched a YouTube channel, realized we were out of Springfield, and that he could hire us, and we came out and did some work for him. Listen, it's the weirdest thing, though, when you meet people and they're like, oh, you're real? Like I went out there to do his final walkthrough, and he came through, and the note said, watches a YouTube show. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so he's like, you actually come out? You do the final? I figured you would just be doing videos all day. Like, well, no, we do need to make money. So, and this is something I do. So, but, and we sell tools. You know, when we'll do a video on tools, we'll sell some tools, and it does help the business that way. And that's one of the reasons. That's one of the benefits of the channel, and that's something we talk about when we're just talking about the benefits of the show.
Yeah.
But yeah. Noah says, speaking on the why, I always find it inspiring when influencers as yourself take time to educate new fencers. With that being said, we'll be seeing more how-to videos. Probably.
Yeah, I'd say yes. It's more likely than not, for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to get back. We did that kind of video in the past. I think I'd probably like to get back to doing those types of videos because I feel like those were probably the most helpful. Mm-hmm. But it's also a trade-off of those also take more time to produce and more time to.
Well, it's something you kind of need to be there for. Is with a lot of the week in the life, I can kind of just go and go with the guys, and you don't have to be there for that much of it.
Yeah.
Whereas with the how-to, it's kind of you're the face of the channel. It makes sense for you to be the one.
We had this conversation yesterday that when we were doing more of the sit-down videos, the top fives, the how-to, that sort of thing, I would block out my entire Tuesday, and so it would just be one day of work that I would not do anything for Ozark Fence. I would only do it for the YouTube channel. And it worked at the time because I didn't have Ozark Wireworks. I only had Ozark Fence.
Yep.
I could take off a day. Now we're going to try to figure that out, but it's also we need to figure out how to do that efficiently. They do well. The how-to videos do well. So, and they're helpful. So the answer is more than likely we just need to figure out a way to...
just figure out what that looks like, basically.
Yeah. Absolutely. Nathan says, I think all of us doing high quality content are looking at elevating the trade, legitimizing this thing in our own selves and those around us. This thing can be bigger. It's time to push us all. Absolutely. The rising tide raises all the ships is something that I firmly believe in. And hopefully we can step back and look at this 20 years from now and see that it had some sort of an impact on the industry.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the more people trying to make good content, the better, because then everyone just starts making better stuff, I think.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the thing is, so Nathan and I had a phone call when, in the very early days of him, like he decided he was going to do a show. He's like, listen, I just want to make sure, I want you to know, like, I'm doing my own thing, and here's my thoughts. I was like, Nathan, I think we need more fence guys.
Definitely.
We need all the fence guys doing content, because I would love to sit and watch a show on someone else, their lot layout or their truck setup or their whatever, because then we can all pick up on stuff like that. My favorite thing to do when I'm in another town is visit a fencing company and just see how they do stuff, see how their shop's laid out, or do they have a piece of equipment I hadn't considered, that sort of thing. Well, to do that more efficiently, if we could do that via video, then that would obviously be better.
Definitely.
All right. Front Rock says, I think every company should do a brand story video. Agreed.
Seems like a good idea.
Agreed. Let's see. I'll be building 350 foot of privacy fence next month. I've been watching all your videos multiple times to learn. Hopefully, I don't screw it up. As long as you take your time and pay attention to the details, you stand a really good shot at it.
Yep.
So Fence Vlog says, I definitely need to get more consistent in my video posting. That is probably the most important thing. I mean, quality is important. I mean, you don't record it on a potato, but consistency, right, consistency can be whatever you want it to be, right? I mean, you see some channels like in their shorts forms, right, but they'll post 4 times a day, but it's consistent 4 times a day.
Yeah.
We're at 2 videos a week.
2 videos plus a live. And then plus a few shorts. So
right, but
I mean,
we do that consistently.
We do that consistently. Yeah.
So, Jeff, I mean, as long as you're posting consistently could be once a week, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be
every other week, really. I mean,
right.
It starts getting harder at that point. But if you're making good stuff, I mean, it'll work.
Yeah, as long as it's consistently every other week, then and you tell your audience what to expect. Mm-hmm. Hey guys, the first and third weeks of the month, you can count on seeing content from me. It's going to be a wide variety, but just know if it's the first or third week of the month, you'll see some video out there from me.
Yep.
I think that's the most important. It needs to be good content. I don't want to say that you can just put out whatever you want.
I'd say good content outweighs consistency.
Yeah.
Based on just what I see out there now. Normally they're paired. It's kind of rare that you have really good content and have no consistency. Yeah. But if you have really good content, you don't need to be as consistent, because people will kind of give you grace because they really want to see a video. But it's a lot harder. I think it's easier both as a creator and just to gain, a following, to be consistent with slightly worse content than to be like, okay, I'm going to spend 3 months on this video to make it really good. It's hard. It's just hard to do that. Sure. So I think consistency is an easier route and will work well.
Well, consistency plays to the algorithm.
It does.
No matter wherever you're posting your content, there is an algorithm, and so consistency lets it know what to expect too. Yeah. It says, hey, when I see a video from it weekly, it typically does better than if I see 2 in 1 week, nothing for 3 weeks, 1 the next week. The algorithm just doesn't know what to do with the video. So it'll push it a little bit, and your subscribers will likely see it. But in terms of sharing it out organically past your subscribers, I think that's where you see the benefit of consistency. Yeah. So we have found ourselves at the end of the questions. If you guys have questions, comments, etc., drop them in now.
Wow, we're almost at an hour.
We're at 54 minutes. This is what I tell people. I was having this conversation with someone the other day. They're like, man, an hour. Like, how do you sit and talk for an hour? Like, you will blink and miss it. Like, it'll seem like this feels to me like 5-10 minutes of just like sitting and chatting.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that. It definitely doesn't feel like almost an hour.
No,
that's for sure.
Well, that's how we would do the 2.5 hour shows. Like, some people were like, there's no way. Like, you get on 2 or 3 good subjects, and you're done. That's 2.5 hours.
Yeah, because basically, I mean, you think sitting down talking with a friend. I know not everyone does, but I think a lot of us can easily, if it's somebody you can spend a couple hours easy just talking to them. So then when you get, you have this, like we have basically people sitting around us, like helping, like, hey, what, to help the conversation move.
Kind of prompting this up.
So it makes sense that it just kind of flies by.
Yeah, if we were sitting around with 20 or 30 people in a group, we would have a several-hour conversation.
Yeah, you'd easily be able to fill that time.
I think about the cigar shop that it was me and you and Caleb and Matt several hours
That
just
was a
sitting
while.
and chatting.
That was a while. Yeah, and it went by pretty quick.
It
went by
did.
pretty quick.
It did because it was good conversation.
Yep.
Noah's hit the nail on the head. Announcement time. It is
Boy,
indeed.
I
We
can't
said
believe he's actually been in here that long. He must be off work today.
thank you so much, Noah. Appreciate that. You have a big announcement.
Yeah. I mean, how much do we want to say?
How much do you want to say? I'm fine with whatever. I want to make sure that we're respectful to you in the situation.
I mean, I'll be leaving the show.
Yeah.
I got a job out in Nashville, so a little bit of a move away.
It was a massive job. It's a massive job.
It's cool. It's more video stuff. I don't want to say the exact company.
That's fine.
But it's a good opportunity for me. It'll be really cool. I'm sad to leave. I like it here a lot. It's great.
And we hate to see you go, but so when you came to me and said, "Hey, this happened a lot faster than I thought it would," I think back up. So we've been doing interviews for an assistant for you, and part of that interview questions was, we understand that this is probably a stepping stone.
Yeah.
How long do you anticipate being here before you take the next step? And understand that there's not a wrong answer. We just want to know what expectations were.
Yep.
And I think we had that expectation with your role as well. Like, I didn't have any, misconceptions that this was like a lifetime posting.
Yeah.
This is absolutely a, maybe building a portfolio or maybe honing, whatever it is. And so we had that expectation, whether it's spoken or unspoken, kind of from the beginning. So you came in and said, "Hey, this happened a lot faster than I thought.
It did.
I got a massive offer. I've got to put in my 2 weeks." And in the back of my head, I was like, okay, maybe we can counter. Maybe we can counter and ride this a little longer. And then you said who it was for without whatever their offer was. You're like, "It's for so-and-so." It's like, no.
Yeah.
No chance. Because regardless of what the offer was, this is like a chasing dreams scenario.
It really is. This is certainly very much career potential, and not that there's not here, but there's a lot of runway there, a lot of room to grow there.
This on a resume opens a lot. Not this, but your offer or your where you're going on a resume opens a lot of doors. Just having it as a tagline opens a ton of doors.
Yep.
Yeah, it is a massive. Noah hit the nail on the head again. It's a massive congratulations.
Yep. And we actually, to answer the last part of that, I mean, we do have somebody coming in. Actually, starts Monday, so I'll get a week with him. I'm excited to bring him in.
This is probably best case scenario. Best case outcome is we still have a week with the new guy we got a week of runway to say, you thought you were coming in at second chair. We're actually putting you in the big chair. Yeah. So it's a lot to take on. It's a lot to get through, but you also have a week with the guy that's been in the chair to, figure out what that's like.
I don't know. We can mention, we probably will be for the next little bit, scaling back a little bit on the video posting, just to kind of help the new guy. Like we said, like he wasn't hired for this position exactly. So we don't want to overwhelm him with a bunch of work he was anticipating. Yeah. So scale back a little bit. Probably like once a week. I mean, it's basically just once a week, and just to kind of help. And then if we get in the flow, maybe that goes back up. Sure. The goal is just to. Also, I think another goal as a whole would be to not, kind of, earlier I kind of mentioned sometimes maybe posting videos that I don't think are as good. Maybe get rid of that. So it's like, let's focus on making just good videos. Yep. And
I think so. I think that's fair. And this is what we talked about yesterday, scaling things back. Like you said, we're 2 videos a week plus a live. Yep. So scaling it back to 1 video a week and a live. So every other week, you guys are used to seeing reactions. You'll still see those reactions. But scaling back the videos, whether it be instead of a week in the life, maybe it's a month in the life. Maybe we do film content, and one of those weeks is just a catch up on what's going on at Ozark Fence. The other one's a video like what we shot yesterday or a how-to. Yep. I also, we get a lot of requests or a lot of questions about like product reviews. So
that's true.
I got a question in my messenger last night it was about a hog ring gun. Never used a hog ring gun, so I don't have an opinion on that. But
what do you need a gun for those?
Oh, because they take forever.
I guess they kind of are a pain.
Yeah, because you got to get
So
it out. You got to put in
literally
your
can just like
pliers.
point it on there and it just shoot. That's actually
Yeah. So they hold like a nail gun. So there's like a
already,
clip.
Yeah, that's okay.
Preloaded. You can just like zip, zip,
That
zip.
probably would be nice then.
I think so.
Yeah.
So seeing content or seeing questions like that. So, Marcus Sheridan's book, They Ask You Answer, tells us that if one person has a question,
Yeah.
there are multiple people. So if we were to create a video that says, what is the best hog ring gun available today? And we actually tested it and we actually did all that and then gave it an informed opinion at the end, that video would probably do pretty well.
I think so. I do.
So part of me thinks that one of the videos a month is like a product review video. Whether it, there's Nationwide's got a lot of content or a lot of products that I would like to test and get out there. We did actually the video this week was a traverse latch, flipping a traverse latch. It's either this week or last week.
Yeah, it was this past week, I think. So this week.
Yeah. So reversing a traverse latch. Those traverse latches are slick, and I think more people, if they saw the video and saw how easy they were to use, would legitimately use them. Now, they are a sponsor of the show, so there will always be that thought of, well, Joe's showing off his sponsor stuff.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I only found it because we were there at the anyway.
Yeah.
So
we like them, but they are a sponsor.
Yeah.
But also go buy Nationwide stuff. So
yeah, we as a business buy Nationwide stuff almost exclusively when it comes to like pool gate hardware, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Almost exclusively when it comes to chain link stuff. It's like chain link fittings. We try to use them exclusively, but so at the scale that we sell stuff on e-commerce, whether it's our site or on Amazon, we buy them out on quite a few items where they say, well, we won't have any more until like August, but we will have more for you. It's like, well, I need some right now, so I guess I'll go to other company and source them. Anyway, product review videos I think would be good, or at least product demonstration videos too would probably be okay.
Matthew in the chat.
Matt, what is up? So if you guys listen at the beginning of the show and hear the incredible song that intros our countdown, this is the guy. This is Matt.
I like it every week. I like music a lot, so that probably helps, but I just like it.
If you guys could see, like, before the show, like, both of us are like, dun, 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 dun,
So
dun, 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 dun.
good job, Matt.
It's
good job.
so good. It can be hard to find or come up with content that's good that you think people might want to see. Yep. We need more feedback from the audience. Great point. Braden, you will be missed. Had tons of fun. I absolutely agree. I can't wait to watch, like we talked about this before, like I want us to keep up with each other because I can't wait to watch like your trajectory.
Definitely. We'll keep up. We need to. And I'll be back around sometime.
Yeah.
Like, all my family's still here, so I'll be coming back to Springfield probably.
It would be cool to do like a catch up like once in a while when you come through. Just like, hey, what's going on? Vince Vlog says, best of luck in your endeavors.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Noah says, taking a small amount of time to ensure proper training is a good practice in all aspects of work. Take the time you need to keep posting awesome videos. I think that's it. Training and not dumping everything on it in the beginning. Right? To say, all right, here's the workload, here's the expectations. Listen, I understand we need to get feet on solid ground first, and then we can. Also, I mean, like you had said, the week in the life was your project. Like that was the content that you were most involved with. So a lot of it had your feeling in it, right? Or just like your creative, flow in it. So when a new guy comes in, we're going to show him the channel and give him kind of my direction on how I'd like it to go. But ultimately, it's going to be his content flow and his creative flow that he, would say, hey, I would think we should create content like this. And that content would likely be better than him trying to...
trying to emulate something. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. 100%. 100%.
He says, Braden has done a great job. Excited to see your next steps.
Thanks, Nathan.
Totally, completely agree. Guys, we're at an hour 4. If you got last minute questions, let us know. Drop them in the comments below. And if you're listening on the podcast, you can always find us. You can find this recorded on YouTube. We've got a playlist that's like recorded Q&A lives. You can drop a question there. You can also send it to joe@defenseexpert.show. If it's a Braden related question, I can always forward it.
There you go. That's true.
To Braden.
That's true. I'll be around. So
yeah. I like I said, I'm incredibly excited to see where you go. It's a huge It's a huge deal. It really is. Yeah. We had talked. So during all this, we talked quite a bit. And when I was right out of high school, a buddy of mine, his uncle, and he still does, owns a construction company in Las Vegas. And he had said, "Hey guys, I could always use good help. I need supervisors and this sort of thing. I'd love for you guys to come out, spend a couple years learning it, and then come into my management team." And I always wonder, now listen, I think this has worked out incredibly well for me and my family and all that. But I always wonder, what could have been, what could have happened, right? So obviously, construction in Las Vegas hasn't died down any in the last
I don't think so.
20 years.
Yeah.
If anything, it's blown up. So it's where would we be? But that game is absolutely no good because we could have just as easily gotten addicted to gambling and just got ruined.
Yep.
I think. Now, I don't want to poo-poo on Las Vegas. Brian Frederickson could be watching. I'm not saying that, Brian. But I'm saying for two 19-year-old guys, Las Vegas might not have been that weren't from there.
Yeah.
That would probably not be a great environment to move them into. And construction guys in Vegas get paid well. So 19-year-olds with money in Las Vegas.
That's a scary thought.
It's probably not a recipe for success. So it's probably for the best.
It's all worked out.
But I still, from time to time, wonder, what could have happened? And this is that defining moment, I think, that you'll look back on. And if you hadn't have gone, you'd wonder.
I think so.
What?
I definitely think so, 100%. So I think it's worth going after that stuff.
Absolutely. Braden, you have had an incredible impact on this channel. You really have. I think about when we went out to Tampa, all of what we've done, it's been so much fun doing it with you.
It's been really good. It's been the channel's had, and everything here has had a big impact on me too. So it's been really good.
And I said, if you get out there and it's not what you think it is, you always have a place here. And I laugh in the middle of that because I know once you get there, the trajectory only goes up.
But I still appreciate that though. It means a lot.
Yep. All right, guys. Don't see any last minute comments or questions, so I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But Braden, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. For now, I'm Joe Everest, the fence expert, reminding you, good fences make good neighbors. And I'll see you next week.